What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Lean and Mean Academy, where we talk about one truck, big profits, baby. All right, welcome back to another video. Today's video is titled How to Be the Most Expensive Company in Your City. We're going to jump into this. I got a few really key points that I need you guys to focus on, especially if you're new in the pressure washing game or service industry game. But before we jump into that, if you're looking to take your business and launch it into 2022, I urge you to join the thousands of other guys, gals who have taken the Local Domination 0 to 7K course. This is a business course and a marketing course designed by Justin Rogers and myself, and it is designed to take you from $0 to $7,000 a month in your pressure washing business. Tons of rave reviews. We got guys from all over the world who've taken this, and many of them, a good portion of them, are doing six figures, well over six figures in their business now and growing. So if that's something you're wanting to do, it'll be the first link in the description, first link in the comments. It'll take you to the page. And we actually just updated the Facebook ads portion of that course for 2022, updated a bunch of stuff from 2020, and it is tight and right. So it's all updated, ready for you to implement immediately. Jump in. All right, let's talk about how to be the most expensive company in your city. Now, this is one of those real, controversial topics. The guys who operate from the broke mentality really struggle with this. And I want to kind of explain to you where I started and why I even got this idea in the first place in my business. Is because I started from living in my van. A lot of you know the story. I was broke, 2017, had zero money. I came off a music career and I was cleaning windows part-time. That's kind of where I branched into pressure washing and found that I could get higher tickets for this service than I could cleaning commercial route windows. I mean, anybody who's ever done that definitely gets it. It's volume's the name of the game in that world. But jumping into pressure washing, volume was not the name of the game, simply put, because people usually want their house cleaned at most every 6 months. So volume was taken out of the equation in the beginning. So I said, well, if I'm only going to be able to hit these customers once a year, maybe twice a year, I definitely am going to need to figure out my pricing so I can be not only profitable, but actually enjoy my work. I came from South Alabama, where if you do not want to just break your back, you're apparently not respectable and not a good man. Well, I kind of morphed that into the school of, if I'm going to break my back, by God, I'm going to get paid. Anyone, can I get an amen in the comments? Let me know if you agree. We're going to get paid. We're going to take our kids on trips. We're going to buy things that we want. We're going to enjoy our life. We're going to eat the food we want. By God, if I want to take my friends out for sushi and spend $200-$300 on that, I'm going to do that because my business is going to give that to me. And I had to make a decision to kind of break that old Alabama mentality that I grew up with. Rural Alabama, rural, maybe even inner cities, probably the same way, where it's penny pinching and they really can't figure out how to break out. Well, I made a decision one day to start charging everything at high ticket, simply put, because I was a pretty good salesman at that time. I got better over time, but I also was just wanting to see how far I could push it. I knew that I was going to show up on site. I knew that I was going to deliver, and I knew at the end of my job, my customer would be happy. I was going to guarantee that. So the way I was able to take the pricing variable out of the situation was to say, you know what, if the customer is happy, the price doesn't matter. And that's something that's just like a little mind hack for you, that the price actually doesn't matter as long as the customer is happy. Because, frankly, a lot of customers that you're going to be working for, if they are a high ticket candidate and they've got the money to pay, they've spent a lot more money on much dumber things than having someone soft wash or pressure wash their house properly. They probably have a Ford Raptor sitting out front, which is a $120,000 truck. They may have a boat or a couple boats. They may have, rent houses all over the place. And what I had to find out is that, simply put, people weren't as broke as I was. People weren't broke. The people I worked for had money and they wanted to spend it, and they would be quite offended if I didn't charge them accordingly. And this is something that is hard, very hard for a lot of people in our world to even grasp. They'll chastise me on the channel or in the comments. Please do. Go ahead. I literally do not care. I actually hope that you do. For talking about this, for kind of breaking the mold or pulling them out of the way they think, which is that old guilty way of going about getting money. Oh, you know, pricing straight from intrinsic value, and pricing as if you were the one purchasing the pressure washing service, which we all know you're a pressure washer. You have a pressure washer in your backyard. Why would you ever purchase pressure washing services? And that thought mixed with your broke thinking from your childhood comes together and just pollutes your sales process. It taints it, it destroys it, and it makes you continually price from your own pocket. You price like you're cleaning for yourself, and you would never pay for it. So you have constant anxiety when you're on site. You have constant anxiety when you're pricing this for the customer and trying to close. You're praying and hoping that they will buy, and you can't imagine why they would, because pressure washing is just spraying water. And I love the guys who say that, because then they go up and etch a bunch of stucco trying to use a surface cleaner on it, or they etch a driveway to pieces and spend another $10,000 resurfacing the driveway with their insurance. So there's a lot of variables that go into pressure washing beyond just spraying water, besides the fact that you can destroy things with pressure, and we use a lot of chemicals that can kill a lot of plants and destroy things if used improperly. Okay, so I just gave you the professionalism that you possess. You possess this. Okay, when you have this, or you've taken the how to wash course, or even local domination, how to market, how to wash, teaching you about all the chemicals, how to use them, how not to destroy things, literally like liability mitigation, how to reduce your exposures in that regard, and you know how to use these chemicals as the most valuable asset in your business. Like the fact that you know how to not destroy things is so valuable. So the first step is getting it out of the intrinsic value. When we think about money, right? We think about actual money, a dollar. If I had a little piece of cash around here, a coin, I'd show you. But if you look at a dollar, it's just a piece of paper. It doesn't matter what's printed on it. It's a piece of paper. It's a worthless piece of paper in its intrinsic value form. A coin, right? Nowadays, they're not even made out of silver. They're worthless. That is its intrinsic value. And that's how a lot of people price their pressure washing. They say, oh, it's just spray. Well, anybody can do it. Yeah, anybody can do this. Anybody can do that. Yeah, you can do it and destroy things. Yeah, you can. Or you could do it the proper way and actually get a positive result. Now, the extrinsic value is what we have to figure out. The extrinsic value has nothing to do with the intrinsic value, right? Because the extrinsic value of money is, well, that's a $100 bill. It's a worthless piece of paper, but the extrinsic value says that I can buy what $100 worth of value would buy. Okay, so it all changes. And the people you want to work for operate in emotions and extrinsic value. Okay, they operate in the extrinsic value because why do they have a Ford Raptor sitting out front? Not because the intrinsic value would be just a car or a bike. A bike can get you to A to B. A Honda Civic, a 94, could get you from A to B. That's $3,000 maybe. But no, they focus on the extrinsic value of an $120,000 truck. And I'm using that as an example because it's a common example that I see around. And I think it kind of displays it in a good way that you don't need that type of truck. So people buy a lot of things that they don't need, but they find great value in. And this is where you need to get your pricing and your mentality into the emotions of the customer and away from the logic. The logic would tell you it's just water, it's just spraying water, it's just spraying bleach. The emotions would tell you this person trusts you around their home. They trust you around their plants. They trust you around their cars. They trust you're not going to come back at 2 a.m. and steal a bunch of stuff out of the backyard because you've been casing the joint now. Okay. That's the extrinsic value of it all. And so this is why I decided to become the most expensive company in my city. And I really had to battle with myself, right? And stick to my guns when the customer would make comments about me being too expensive. Because I'm going to tell you guys, you're going to listen to this video and you're going to go out tomorrow and you're going to start trying to price at high ticket and close. And maybe you learn something from this and you go and you implement and you close the deal. But maybe, just maybe, you're not quite there in your sales process yet, and you get slapped a few times by the customer, right? You get, oh, that's too expensive. That's too expensive. That's too expensive. That's too expensive. And you get 5 of them down the line. Well, I would urge you to do another 20 and then take your ratio as to whether it's a win or a loss, or whether you need to learn a few more sales tactics to understand how to maneuver the customer into a place where they will buy at that price. Because I assure you, from the inner circle, I'm watching these guys close deals at high ticket every single day. They're closing jobs, and they're doing jobs in 2 days and more than they used to make in a month at their 9 to 5. It's not uncommon. We see it all the time. It's almost become a meme of the guys who work with us. And so that is what happens when you get it out of intrinsic, out of the it's just spraying water and pricing from your own pocket, and into the extrinsic, which is completely elastic in its pricing. Now, I'm not going to tell you that you're going to be able to go into your rural area and start pricing the way I can price in Nashville. I don't know if you guys have seen Nashville real estate prices, but they're crazy. Los Angeles is the same, is even more, okay? And some of these areas just have more money. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to give you a way out. All right. I knew you were looking for a way out. Everybody's looking for a way out. I'm holding your feet to the fire here, because in your area, there is a high ticket version of your area. If your area averages $300 a cleaning per house, right? Pretty rural. Okay. Then I know you could slide that to 500. Which oddly is another 40, not quite 50% on the deal. Okay, you're not quite, well, you're essentially almost doubling the pricing and the profits on the back end. And so that sliding scale can slide a bit. Whereas in my city, it may be 700, 800, 900 is the average. You could probably slide it to 1,000, maybe 1,100. Okay. And what that does is immediately that starts to cover all of your employee costs. That starts to cover all your chem costs. And you start noticing that your take home just doubles. Okay. That's the beauty of being the most expensive company in your city. Now, if you're going to take this video out of context and blow up my comments, please do. But I feel like throughout this whole video, I've been able to kind of lay it out there for you to understand this 30,000 foot view of what I'm talking about. I'm talking about pushing your mental limits on what you think you can charge in your area. It is a lot more than you think. Okay. It might even be close to double. I've had guys in Nashville tell me that they can't charge more than $250. And we're just like, the average is 600, 700, 800 per ticket. So they're in a mental prison that I hope they break out of, because it only helps the industry. It only boosts the whole value of the industry, and a rising tide lifts all boats. I hope you guys are killing it this year. 2022. I'm going to put up a testimonial from one of the guys in the inner circle. If you're interested in joining, I'll put a link in the description as well. Turner Khan, killing it. He set a goal for 15,000 this month and has hit that goal by the 15th of the month, which means he's got 15 more days, baby. He set the goal way too low, but we're rooting him on. Next month, he's going for 30K. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video.